Welcome to the very first edition of SFL TV, brought to you by the Southern Footy League. I'm Chino, and Jules is here with me tonight. We've got a big show and lots to bring you. Jules, what's coming up?
Big night, Chino, tonight in our first edition. Can't wait to get it started, and of course we'll be speaking to our premiership winning captains for Netball, Division 1 to 3. Can't wait to speak to them and hear what they had to say, still fresh off their great wins. And we'll, of course, be previewing the footy finals and speaking to two coaches from Division 1 and 2.
It's definitely a big show coming up, and we'll also have everything that you need to know about the SFL Finals Series, about how to get to the grounds, what's coming up, and what some of the celebrations and big events and functions the SFL will be hosting that you don't want to miss out on. All that and more here on SFL TV. On SFL TV here, Chino and Jules taking you through. We love to talk about footy, but this week we also love to talk about netball because we've had the grand finals across all three divisions, and well, the Dingoes, they have taken out a bit of a haul. Not all three divisions, but two of them. So we start off with Division 1. We're very lucky to have in the studio this evening Alicia Wise, the Dingley Football Club netball captain in Division 1. Thanks for joining us, Alicia.
Thank you.
Now, you had a great win over the weekend, taking on Heatherton, getting up by 4 goals, 38-34. You must be absolutely wrapped with the victory.
Yeah, it was great victory. We just held on to it towards the end. Heatherton came back at us pretty hard in the last quarter, so we were a bit nervous that we were going to lose it, but managed to hold on to it, fortunately. And it was a great win.
Of course, your grand final win capped off an undefeated season. You won 12 matches from your 13 and drew the other one. Were you that confident that you just had your victory speech prepared on the Monday before the grand final?
I wish we could have gone in with that confidence. The year before, we went undefeated and played the exact same Heatherton team in the grand. Well, they had a few changes, but the Heatherton team in the grand final, and they beat us last year and ruined our undefeated season. So
I saw you beat them 7-0 in the semi-final, and the grand final 38-34. So they really tested you. Why do you think that it was such a close game?
Heatherton are amazing in finals. We could play the year before. We played them in the semi and beat them by about 15 goals or something like that. And they came out in the grand final and beat us. They pull out everything in finals. They're really great team like that, and you never know what you're going to get against them. So they always run us to the very final siren.
So Alicia, what exactly happened? I guess leading into the semis, I understand that Heatherton forfeited in the semi-finals, and for you. And for the ladies, it meant that you had a 3-week break, I think, altogether. Was that Heatherton just trying not to show all of their cards before the grand final? Or
yeah, we heard it was. We heard it was a bit of a tactic by Heatherton to try and give us a nice 3-week break, so we were a bit rusty leading into the grand final. But they were struggling a lot through the season with a lot. They had a really bad run of injuries, and they had a few players that were away, and really struggled to field a team in the semis, so they had to forfeit. I don't think the 3-week break really helped us that much.
I thought I heard you just before you came in here saying you weren't feeling the best, a bit hungover. Was that you or another guest?
Me and the Div 2 captain, Alicia Morecroft, we had pretty big celebrations after.
So what did you do for these celebrations?
So after our game, we went back to the footy club, and our reserves won. The footy team won, and then the seniors footy team, they had a great win. They came from behind and won as well. And then the footy club put on a big DJ night for us. So, it was really good. The footy club sort of went all out for the netballers, which was great. And good to have all the football boys come out and support us as well. So
you're going to get down and watch the boys play this weekend?
Yeah, so our footy club did really well. We had all 5 teams make finals, our under-19 supers, the thirds, the reserves and the seniors. So the supers lost on Sunday, unfortunately, so they're knocked out now. But we've got the other 4 that will get down and support this weekend.
Cool. Good captain.
Yeah. Well, they supported us. So we'll try and return it a bit.
So a fantastic result, I guess, from a Dingley perspective. Is there any other mountains left to climb? You've done the celebrations, grand finalists, and in 2 years in a row. Anything left for next season? What's there to look forward to?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe trying to do it all again. Our Div 3, we want the Div 3 to make, and hopefully next year we can get Div 1, Div 2 and Div 3 premierships, and I think that'll probably top it off.
So there we go. Watch out for the Dingoes next season. Alicia, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
You're on SFL TV. Christian and Jules with you. It's the SFL footy show turned into the Dingley Dingoes netball show as we turn to Division 2, the netball grand final. The one that everyone was looking forward to, and it absolutely lived up to all expectations, with the Dingoes getting up once again. And joining us in the studio, we have their captain, Alicia Morecroft, joining us on the show. Alicia, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And as we mentioned, it really was a fantastic grand final. The girls getting up, coming back from 9 goals behind in the final quarter to snare the premiership. You really can't get much better than that, can you?
No, not at all. I would have to say it was the best netball game I've ever been a part of, or even been able to witness. It was just an amazing. I've still got a smile on my face 3 days later.
You beat Karen Patterson Lakes 32-30 in the semi-final and then 34-32 in the grand final. And like you said, you were trailing for a lot of that grand final. What did you say to, or was it the coach perhaps that said something during the breaks?
Well, it was a little bit of a change of positions, and it was also, I just said to the girls, we haven't worked this hard all season to come out and just give it away. They've done what they did in that quarter, so we've got to go out and fight hard and do as much as they did that quarter this quarter, and that was the most important one, and it did the job.
So they usually call the third quarter the premiership quarter, but it was in the last quarter that you got up. What did you manage to do to actually change the momentum during the game?
They had a pretty key player, their goal attack, so it was kind of just making sure we could keep her out of the ring, and we tried hard. The momentum and the team feel was just amazing. The support from the crowd, I think, is what pushed us over the line. Every time we'd have an intercept or a good passage of play or a goal, everyone was just up and about, and it was awesome.
Being a defender, you play in defence, is it easy to captain from there and just direct the girls?
It is, but at the same time, because obviously it's from normally at one end of the court as a goalkeeper, and your voice does get a bit sore after trying to yell, and by the time the ball gets down to you, you're trying to catch your breath back again. But yeah, no, it's all right. I'm pretty vocal on the court, so it's all good.
And with now that the netball season is over, you got a bit of spare time on your weekend. Like, what will you be doing in the off season?
Actually, I'm heading off this Friday for 6 weeks holidays.
Oh, cool. So the celebration continues.
It definitely does, yeah. And then we'll be back for the SFL presentation and also the Dingley Dingoes presentation night, which should be a good one.
Alicia, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Enjoy your 6 weeks off, and we'll get back and hopefully have a great presentation night there at the Dingoes Club as well.
Thanks for having me, and go Dingoes.
You're on SFL TV, Christian and Jules with you, and we love to talk about footy, but we also love to talk about SFL netball as well. Grand final this weekend has just passed in all of the divisions of the netball. In Division 3, the grand final saw Lyndale go head-to-head with Bentley in our match this weekend. Both of the teams finishing off really strongly in their season. Lyndale coming from third at the end of the home-away season to make it to the grand finals. They were the underdogs, and guess what? They were victorious. And joining us this evening on SFL TV, we have the Lyndale Footy Club netball captain, Nikki Hamilton. Thanks for joining us tonight, Nikki.
No worries, thank you.
So, Nikki, it must have been an absolutely outstanding effort, and the ladies must have been rapt to come away with the win in the grand final on the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. We did not expect to win at all, and the girls, I could not be prouder of them, of their efforts on Saturday.
And I guess from an SFL perspective, probably the greatest thing, and I'll probably get punched for this afterwards, is that you managed to put an end to the Dingley juggernaut. They obviously took out the grand final in Division 1 and 2, so quite handy that you came away with the win as well.
Yeah, it was awesome to come away with the win. As I said, we definitely didn't expect it, and Bentley were very strong throughout the season.
Nikki, could you just tell us, you finished third in the division this year, Division 3. Was it a bit of a surprise that you got to the grand final and won it? I know it was a pretty tight league, but what were your thoughts on that?
I thought we'd make finals. How far I thought we'd get, I don't think I thought we'd get to the grand final, no. But we had beaten Cheltenham before, so to beat them in the first round of finals was a pretty good feeling. And then to play Hidden Grove the next week, we thought, well, that'd be a bit of a harder fight, but eventually we made it through, so it was good.
And what were the celebrations like after the game? Did the girls hit the clubs pretty hard or a lot of drinks?
It was a pretty big night at the footy club, that's for sure. The footy boys were pretty excited for us as well, which was good. It was good to have the whole club behind us on Saturday.
So it's great. I guess you could say you've definitely set the standard, so to speak, for the footy guys and given them something to work towards for next season as well. And they must be pretty happy to be able to join in on your celebrations as well.
Yeah, definitely. They were very happy on Saturday with all of us because they haven't made finals themselves. So I guess we've got one up on them now. So yeah.
You had some ups and downs during the season. Can you speak a little bit about those and how you managed to turn it around during the finals and particularly to get up over Bentley on the weekend, who were favourites to take out the premiership?
Yeah, definitely. Bentley beat us twice during the year, quite convincingly as well. We had a couple of girls miss a few games, which was hard when you're playing with not your usual team every week. But pretty much for finals, we just put our best team out there and gave it everything we had. We knew we had nothing to lose on Saturday, so we gave it everything we had.
You absolutely did, and you really came out firing in the first term. I think, did you score, was it 11 goals to 3?
Yeah, something like that. We definitely had a strong first quarter, which was really good and really handy.
And then after that, it wasn't that Bentley didn't come back. You had to really stand your ground, and you managed to do that.
Yeah, we did. The third quarter especially, they came back and we got a little bit worried, we did, but we held it together, which was good.
Any star performances on the court?
Probably our player coach, Jamie, in defence. She was outstanding on Saturday. So yeah, she probably held it together better than any of us.
It takes so much to win a grand final, and I'd like to know, like, what's your pre-game routine? How do you get yourself up for such a big game?
We all get there a little bit before the game and just sort of warm up, I guess, and the girls all practice and stuff, and we just all sort of all work together, I guess, and just have a little bit of a chat before the game about what we're going to do and what we need to do, and then it paid off, so it was good.
And you've won the grand final now, so you can tell us what you told the girls before the game. What was your pre-match address?
Pretty much just give it everything you've got. We've got nothing to lose, and I'm proud of them no matter what happens, and I was extremely proud of them at the end of the game.
A fantastic result for Lyndale, and obviously you move off up into Division 2 next year, being victorious in Division 3. So all the best. Hope you have a restful and successful off-season, and all the best to Lyndale next year. Thanks for joining us, Nikki.
Thank you for having me.
You're on SFL TV. Chino and Jules taking you through. We turn our attention now to the magnificent weekend that it has been. Round 18 of the SFL, each of the 3 divisions, and it definitely didn't disappoint, or maybe it did in Division 1 because of the 3 teams vying for the final spot. That's 5th position on the ladder in Division 1. None of them stood up and took away the win. The lucky winner in the lottery was St Kilda City FC. We're very lucky tonight to have in the studio Steve Murphy, assistant coach at the St Kilda City Footy Club, all the way from the Peanut Farm. We welcome Steve. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Good to be here.
Now, what were your feelings after the match on Saturday, knowing that you hadn't managed to come away with the win, but you managed to secure that all vital 5th spot in the finals?
Yeah, you're right. We couldn't secure the win, but it was mixed emotions probably because the boys put in a tremendous effort. Couldn't get away with the win. We were in front at 3/4 time by 3.5 goals, but probably ran out of legs. So straight after the game, we were disappointed. We thought we should have won the game, so it was quite a sombre feeling in the sheds. And then, probably 10 minutes passed and we realised that, the supporters all came in and told us that we'd made the semis, and then we were able to regroup and focus on next week. So it's a really strange feeling, but, time's gone and we're now training for a semi-final, so we look forward, and as I said, disappointing, but we've got another chance, so it's a good feeling.
Were you receiving any live updates throughout the match of Clayton and Cheltenham, how they were progressing?
They weren't planned updates, but obviously you've got your supporter base there giving you updates, because we just wanted the players to focus on the game against Dingley. And it was a great lead up for us. I thought for 3/4 of the game we were the better side. We knew Dingley would come back hard in the last quarter, and they did overrun us, and they played really well in that last quarter. We were receiving updates, but really our focus was on that last game and preparing, or we wanted to win the game actually. So we haven't beaten a top 5 side or a team above us on the ladder. So we really set ourselves for that game as a really good lead up into the semi-finals. But yeah, we were receiving the update. So we knew our position, and look, from what I heard with 5 minutes to go in one of the games, it was equal. So we knew we had to win anyway. So, and that was our plan at the start of the game, to win the game, because then it wouldn't come down to percentages. So.
Now, Steve, you've had a terrific second half to the season, winning the past 6 out of your 9 matches. Some good form going into the finals. You must be pleased with some of the momentum that the team has been able to build.
Yeah, we're really pleased. We're really confident with where we are. We're a young list, so confidence and momentum is everything. We just ask a few things from the players: intensity around the football, consistency of performance, and we're starting to get that week in, week out. As I said, we're running out a bit of steam at 3/4 time, but I think that's just a young list, and I think we'll learn a lot from the game on the weekend against Dingley, and we'll take that momentum. Although we lost, I think we built a lot of momentum and confidence going into the first semi, so we'll take that into this weekend.
You've just come from training tonight. It's a beautiful night in Melbourne, and you can just sense that the spring is in the air. What's the feeling among the boys now that they know they've got that finals match coming up this weekend? Yeah,
it was a great feeling down there actually. And as you said, the weather's turned up for semi-final football, so you can smell semi-finals in the air. So it's a great feel. We have a few injuries, but from the weekend there were no injuries, so we're probably freshening the boys up tonight, and we'll just have a light week on the track. But they're excited because, as I said, we're a young list. You don't often get the chance to play in semi-final football, and as we've been saying to the players, straight after the game, we said, doesn't matter where we finished on the ladder, everyone's back to zero in semi-final football, and the guys know that we've competed with the top 4 sides for majority of games. We just need to take that into next week. So they're confident without being overconfident, and excited at the same time.
So you come up against Chelsea Heights, a team you've lost to twice this year, just by 3 goals though. So how do you feel you can bridge that gap?
I think we just focus on the last time we played them at their home ground. That was the day probably 3 or 4 weeks ago where it was a really windy day. So we were running with the wind in the last quarter. We're only 2 or 3 goals down, and we thought we'd set the game up really well. The guys' endeavour around the football was really good. Our pressure was good. And then we're running home with the wind in the last quarter, and then it started to rain. So it was one of those days we just felt the game was there to be won, and conditions didn't suit. We're not making an excuse for the conditions because Chelsea Heights played really well in that last quarter. But I think that's given us confidence that we can compete. And we'll never know the outcome. The weather probably wasn't the reason, but with all the top 4 sides now above us, we know we can compete. We know it's a different style of football in the semi-finals, which I think will suit our side. So we go in there, as I said before, with confidence, but not being overconfident. And I just think we play our same brand of football, and that's hard contested football, trying to be consistent for the full game. And I think if we do that, we'll compete really well.
So hopefully, Steve, you and the boys can harness some of that young exuberance and that young confidence of the boys down at a neutral venue, Springvale Reserve, this weekend. And all the best for the team, and maybe you can come away with an upset win against Chelsea Heights.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us ahead of this week's semi-final on SFLTV. You're on SFLTV with Chino and Jules, taking you through what has been a super dramatic weekend, round 18 in the SFL, as we turn our attention to Division 2, where there was a dramatic fall by the Sky Bombers from 3rd. They dropped out of the final race, going down to Bentley over the weekend. One of those beneficiaries, the team that got to sneak in, was Murrumbeena. And we're very pleased to have in the studio tonight the coach of that team, which has snared that 5th spot. We welcome Matt Jones, the footy coach at Murrumbeena, into the studio. Matt, how are you going?
Good, thanks, Chino.
Now, I was down at Bentley Reserve on Saturday, and in the commentary box we were keeping a very close eye on all of the scores, particularly with your game. against Hampton. Did you have your little minions keeping an eye on the match between Bentley and Sky during your match against Hampton on Saturday?
Yeah, we got a score at half time and I got a score at 3/4 time. But by that stage in our game, it was just more important about beating Hampton. So it didn't really matter, but I did let the boys know at half time that Bentley were in front. So yeah, we didn't play that well. It was a pretty scrappy game. They bottled it up, and I think once we got cracking, they fell off. So we were pretty happy with the second half. The first half was not so good, but the second half was definitely good. So a win's a win.
How did the boys train tonight? Did you come from training?
Came straight from training. The last couple of weeks I started backing it off, but no, they were really good tonight. We trained as a whole club, and then I pulled the seniors for about 15 minutes, and that's all they needed. They were really good. So early night, it's the way to do it.
Good stuff. Keep them fresh for.
It's a long year for a lot of the guys are on the tools. We're at a Division 2 standard, so you need to keep them fresh and. Playing the way we have over the last 9 weeks, I think we've only dropped 2 games and most of our games have been pretty tight. So, they're deservedly to be a little bit sore. So freshen them up on Tuesday, flog them on Thursday, and hopefully they'll go good safety.
We've been amazed by the form of your forward, Daniel Willis, who is, of course, leading goal kicker in Division 2 with 90 goals, which actually puts him 82nd overall in Australia's top goal kicker standings. Is he perhaps your biggest weapon on Sunday?
I'd say so. The best thing about Daniel is when we're not going so well, we can play him in the midfield. So, I think as the season's gone on, he's been more damaging higher up the ground. So, if he'd probably stayed at full forward and teams hadn't double teamed him for the back half of the year, he would have kicked 100. But when teams decide to go out and stop one player, we just shuffle it around, play him a bit higher, and to his credit, he's still dominating games from a half-forward flank or even having to rotate on the ball. So he's definitely a good footballer.
Now, Matt, one final quick one. You've lost only 2 of your past 7 games. One was against Sky. They're now out of the equation. The other one against Springvale Districts back in round 12. What's it going to take for the boys to get up this weekend?
Geez, if you could stop for Salo, but people have been saying that for years. Oh, look, the times we've beaten Springvale, we've beaten them convincingly, and we just have to bring our best form. I think if we're not on our game, Springvale use the ball so well, and they are lethal by foot, but our young, bigger bodies, if we get in first to the footy and we play the way we have, especially in the back half of the year, I think we can take it right up to them. And the game against Springvale at Murrumbeena was an absolute cracker. That was one of the highlight games of the year from my coaching point of view for a standard of football. So, I don't think we're fearing them, but obviously, they're in the finals for a reason and they've got some really classy footballers, so we're going to have to play well to beat them.
It's been such a tight league this year in Division 2. Only 4 points separated you and Oakley Districts, who were second. Who do you think can win the premiership other than Murrumbeena? Who's your tip?
I'd say Fermanus is the best footballer in the league, and when he's playing well, Oakley are really dangerous. So, Bentley would be the best side, but if Fermanus fires up, I think Oakley would be very hard to stop. So, in a nutshell, I'd be fearing Oakley.
You're on SFL TV. Hope you're enjoying the show. We've touched on the netball. It's now time to have a look at some of the fixtures and the games that are going to be coming up this weekend in the SFL Finals Series. And we start off with Saturday, that's the 31st of August, starting off at Newcomen Reserve, when East Brighton will be playing against Dingley. That match kicking off at 2 o'clock in the Division 1 Seniors qualifying final.
Division 2 Seniors between Oakley District and Mordialloc in the qualifying final will kick off at 2:10 p.m. at Mead Reserve on Horton Road, Clayton.
The Division 3 Seniors qualifying final is between Dandenong and Carrum Patterson Lakes. Kick off down there at Jack Barker Oval, also at 2:10 p.m. Moving on to Sunday, as we continue on with our other rounds. Sunday, all teams hosting the elimination finals, the all-crucial elimination finals in the SFL this weekend. Starting off again at Springvale Reserve on Newcomen Road, it's Chelsea Heights taking on St Kilda City in the Division 3 Seniors Elimination Final. That match kicking off at 2 p.m.
The Division 2 Seniors Elimination Final will be played between Springvale Districts and Murrumbeena, 2:10 p.m, again at Mead Reserve, Horton Road, Clayton.
And the final match being played at Jack Barker Oval, also kicking off at 2 p.m. on Sunday. That's Weatherall Road in Cheltenham, Division 3 Seniors. It's the neighbours Mount Waverley taking on Ashwood.
Admission prices for the SFL Finals, $12 for adults. For pensioners and concession, it's $5. Under 15, of course, is free. And just a reminder that you can always buy a 4-week finals pass, which is $50, and that is for entry to all finals matches across all 3 divisions on any day.
Now we have an important announcement for all teams, players and fans heading out to Springvale Reserve at Newcomen Road. There are some road closures. Jules, I believe you have the details.
Yes, Chino, due to road works on and around Springvale Road throughout the SFL Finals Series, access to Springvale Reserve via Newcomen Road will be limited. Please note, entry onto Newcomen Road will not be possible from the Springvale Road entrance. In conjunction with Vic Roads and the City of Greater Dandenong, the SFL strongly advises all patrons to access Springvale Reserve via Stevenson Street, accessible from Springvale Road. In light of these roadworks, the SFL encourages all patrons visiting Springvale Reserve for SFL Division 1 Finals to plan accordingly and aim to arrive early.
And if you wanted to keep in touch and keep abreast of all of the live scores, well, we've got a treat for you this weekend with the launch of the SFL Live Footy app.
All you have to do is head to www.sfllive.com.au and you'll be able to find everything you need there for finals, including live scores, team lineups, and of course live radio.
It is the first time that we've done it, so make sure you check out www.sfllive.com.au this finals weekend. In 2013, the sprint is back. It's the 2013 SFL James Bogues Draft Sprint.
To get involved, just contact your club president or secretary to register your interest. Heats will be held on preliminary final weekend on Sunday 15th of September, with the grand final to take place on Sunday 22nd of September.
Here's the best part, the prize courtesy of James Bogues Draft. You can make history as the sprinting champion, and if that's you, you can take $1,000 away if you're the grand final winning player or umpire. Also, $500 going to the winning club.
And of course, it's open to 2013 registered SFL players and or umpires with a maximum of 2 from every club or the Southern Football League Umpires Association.
The Southern Football League invites you to attend the 2013 Grand Final Breakfast.
Special guests will be David Parkin, a premiership coach and media commentator, and David Roden from the Melbourne Football Club. The Grand Final Breakfast will be held on Friday 20th of September at the Bentley Club, Yorla Street, Bentley, from 7 a.m. till 9:30 a.m.
The Grand Final Breakfast will see the presentation of the Inner Southern Region Coach of the Year for 2013, the Southern Football League Mark of the Year, RSVP by September 16. Don't miss out. Tickets $45 per person. Jules, that brings us to the end of our very first edition of SFLTV. It's been a big show. We've covered netball, we've covered the footy. We've done it all, haven't we?
Oh, we've done all right for our debut, I think, Chino. Great guest too tonight.
And great fun. Love to hear your ideas and feedback. Get onto the SFL website all throughout the week. We'll be back next week with all that and more here on SFL TV.